justice for all.
John Dolan, do you want to read the mission statement?
What's that?
Do you want
I had some dental work today, so I'm still a little bit frozen.
Sorry, we're horrible people.
Sorry.
I can find someone else if it's too much.
I can do it.
Okay.
I'm just going to be slurry.
You look good.
The mission of the Lyon Township DDA to assist public and private development efforts to simulate residential, commercial, and industrial growth, stimulate, and create a vibrant community where people live, work, and play.
Thank you. Roll call. Are you doing that, Amy?
Yep, I can do that. Egan.
Present.
Dolan.
Here, barely.
Desi.
Here.
Kazi is not in town today. He is out of town on work. Minor.
Can't miss me.
Pajak.
Here.
Piccinini.
Here.
And then Paula has sent notice that she will not be attending either tonight.
Okay. So now we are going to move to approval of the agenda. There's,
Consent agenda first.
yeah, consent agenda. Does anyone have any comments on the agenda, consent agenda? Or I should have pluralized that. We have 3 minutes we are approving and 2 disbursements.
So we're going back to June and July, obviously July. First.
So the meeting minutes are for March, May,
The ones we
June,
amended.
and special. Yeah, because we've been working on trying to get the minutes to be
Right.
standardized, and I think we're finally there, so that if you look at our minutes,
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
be time-stamped and have a description of where you're at. If anyone wants to make a motion, since there's no discussion.
So moved.
So do we have somebody that's making a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Support.
Read it next time. All right,
So Pastor John made the motion, John Dolan supported.
correct. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, now we are on to approval of the agenda. And there's a number of changes given schedules. Under number 7, announcements and communication, Tim unfortunately is not able to be with us today. He should be at our September meeting, so we will remove that from the agenda. There's a number of items that Mike wanted to be involved in the discussions of, so we will remove under unfinished business the budget amendment, and under new business, the F, review of proposals for engineering review services, and H, nomination for chairperson. And I'm recommending H be removed because it would be good for us actually to have a nominations and voting process, so I would recommend that G become, when you reformat all of these, the bottom one, it becomes G, and have that be a discussion of nominations voting process. Any other changes anyone would like to make? Anyone want to make a motion?
I move we approve the agenda with the corrections that were made.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, moving on to, we are now going to have a call to the public. How this will work is we will do 2 minutes timed. We do have a call to public at the beginning, as you can see on the agenda, number 8, as well as call to public 14. Of course, those are new numbers now that we've redone our agenda. So we will not be having any call to public during the reports and business time of this session. Couple of reminders, just we are recording this, so it's really important that everyone speak into the mic. Do say your name and where you are from. And I think that's it. We will open the call to public at 6:06 p.m. That's what my phone says. I don't know if our clock's right.
Hello, I'm Kelly Sullivan. I'm from New Hudson, and I'm coming to you tonight to talk a little bit about funding for the Ring Road and the drain project. I do know that part of our TIF plan, there's a laundry list of projects that the DDA would like to complete, and two significant ones that have been on the docket for years is completion of the New Hudson drain and completion of the last leg of the Ring Road. I know previously in the budget discussion it was talked about, do we even put that in the budget for this year? There's a number of ongoing things happening regarding the Ring Road and drain project because of Project Flex and other things. On July 9th, the Oakland County Road Commission had a meeting, and on that agenda was someone applied for support for the township for a grant that was funded from the Michigan Transportation Economic Development Fund, specifically for the Ring Road. And in that description, it ties it directly to the development of Project Flex. It will require matching funds from the township, and I'm assuming that that probably will come from TIF funding, if not from the township itself. I feel that continuing to expend funds at all toward anything having to do with the Ring Road, with the New Hudson Drain, while that is pending out there because it depends upon the completion of Project Flex, is not a good expenditure of funds at this time. No engineering, no surveying, no permits. All of those things have been paid for and paid for and paid for over time, and we're in a situation right now where completion date of that is who knows when. So I'm asking please for any funding for the Ring Road and the drain be put off until we see what settles out with the rest of this. Thank you.
Good evening. Mark Spencer, Lyon Township. Thank you DDA members for being here, for helping to volunteer and to make our township, not companies, better. Really grateful for that. Hoping also that we can help fill some of the seats, so any part that I can help and play with that, reach out and let me know. With respect to the Project Flex that was just mentioned by prior resident, thank you for your diligence to make sure that this thing complies with our ordinances. Thank you for your diligence on the moratorium as well. It was extended for 6 months. Really happy, really smiling big about that, able to sleep better at night. We also had a commentary that I wanted to highlight last night with some impending changes from our Michigan Senate that are going to affect our ordinances. Brian mentioned as well, and I'm just mentioning for context, Brian, you nodded that there will be some changes needed because of that new land use, the housing density. There is a way out of that so that we don't have to pack 10 houses onto a single acre. We got to be careful, and I want to make sure that I can do whatever I can to help make that ordinance strong, compliant, and in line and lawful with the Senate without packing 10 houses into a single acre. There are ways around it. We do not have to comply or accept the Senate face value. That's a little bit goofy and obtuse, but if we're talking about different projects, I also want to make sure that we tie together each of the different projects in some way that are going forth and are surrounding Project Flex. We talk about Flex, we talk about drains, we talk about a cell tower that fortunately got turned down last night. There's a lot of different moving parts that somebody has carefully constructed and is kicking off on a timeline. There's a lot of interconnectedness here. And I can help in any way, our team can help in any way, We, the residents, are on your side to stop Flex. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm Nancy from Lyon Township. I've lived here for almost 27 years, and I'm very concerned about my township. I want to make sure it's going to be here, because I might give my house to my grandbabies, and I don't want them living somewhere where it's going to be unhealthy. So in February, I sent in an application for this board, but I was told the board never knew about my application, and that's sad.
They come to me, Nancy.
Yeah, I know, but the board didn't know. The people, so I'm letting you know, you might be getting applications and you don't know it, which is disrespectful, unprofessional. I never got a letter that said, well, we got your application, but at this time, we have already got somebody else for the board. Nope, didn't have that. Or at this time, the requirements that are needed for this job, you do not meet. Nope, didn't get that either. What did I get? Nothing. So just recently I had to email Amy and to ask, and she goes, oh yeah, we got it. And it's in the supervisor's office. I'm like, okay. So then I have to email the supervisor, did you get it? Oh yeah, we got it. So you guys are getting applications and you don't know it. Just wanted you to know. And I'm also with Paul Elko. I don't want him building I don't know how many houses he's going to build going behind my house. He's had he's got like 7 or 8 of them right now planned. But he's waiting till March so he can pack more in. So I'm going to be looking into that law, and I'll be talking about that too. Thank you.
Good evening. Jeff Barker, resident of New Hudson for coming up on 20 years now. We've obviously had a lot of discussion, a lot of things about Project Flex. I am opposed to Project Flex. I've attended meetings, all the meetings since January, February, throughout. I guess one of the things, I've mentioned in previous meetings, I used to work in sales, business development, and I understand making proposals and things. I firmly believe that for Project Flex and for Walbridge, a lot of their actions and their non-compliance with information is really disqualifying. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I think that when you're told to provide a list of things and you don't provide them, and then when the comments is made that not only are we not providing it, or not only have we not provided it, we will not be providing it, that to me is disqualifying. At its base, a data center is enormous, and it's an enormous undertaking. And for an entity not to comply with the request for information to me is disqualifying. I firmly believe and advocate that all of the appropriate entities move to deny the permission to Walbridge and the data center. It's unfortunate, but there's just too much going on. It's too massive, and there's too many aspects that are troubling, whether it's health, whether it's children's health, financial, loss of natural resources. I think it would be negligent to go forward with this project, to be honest. Thank you very much for your time.
Hello. I'd like to enter into the record some information I learned over the weekend. The Oakland County Road Commission held a meeting on July 9th, which granted a Transportation Economic Development Grant for the development of the Ring Road and used Project Flex, a project which has not been fully approved and has no data to support its projected economic numbers, specifically as justification for this funding. I'm hoping we can shine a little light and get some clarity at some point at what this actually means, and if the DDA is aware that they will be on the hook for $1.2 million in a matching fund. Based on the meeting minutes, Lyon Township, Oakland County Road Commission, and this grant will cover the cost of the Ring Road, and I think this contradicts what we were told, which was that Walbridge would be covering this cost in part or in whole. Moreover, I'm hoping to get clarity as well on the engineering piece of this, because the minutes for Oakland County Road Commission indicated that they would be taking over the engineering for the drain, but CES has been engineering this drain for years. Moreover, we are learning a lot about Lyon Township through other agencies and curious if the DDA is aware of Eagle permitting for the New Hudson Drain cleanout that is being justified because Milford Road would be expanding to 4 lanes, and this is yet to be mentioned at any township meeting. This also requires clarity to residents as to what is happening with these projects. I'm bringing both of these concerns to the DDA as funding for both projects sits within your budget. I know you can't respond back tonight, but I hope you will provide thorough clarity in the very near future. Thank you.
Anyone else want to come up for public comment? Okay, I am going to thank you all for your comments. I am going to close the call to the public at 6:16 p.m. And we will do reports. Leslie, you're up first with the engineer's report.
Okay, so the 2 projects that I'd like to update you on specifically is the Hawk signal. You probably all noticed that the traffic signal has been installed, and I anticipate the sidewalks to be completed in the next week-ish. Once the restoration is complete, the Road Commission will complete the striping for the project, and I also am waiting on the Road Commission to sign off on the installation of the signal itself and the controls. So they handle the inspection of that. So that will be done very soon. The Southeast Ring Road, the engineering scope of work is completed. The permits and plans have been transmitted to the director, Amy Allen, and I have not heard though from Eagle if they intend on issuing the Part 301 permit or not. It's in their office for review. But we have the Road Commission approval and we have WRC drain approval, and I completed a letter drafted to the DDA on, I believe, July 22nd with a summary of additional things that would be necessary to complete the construction of the project. And so those are the 2 projects that I think are the most important, but I did have a report if you have any questions about any of the other ones that are on there that was included in your packet.
Do you have an update? Are you involved at all with the New Hudson Road vacation?
Right now we're not. We're on hold unless Amy directs us to do additional work on that.
And did everyone receive the July 22nd letter, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to be reviewing that.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Brian.
Yes, thank you. You have a letter in your packet dated July 28th regarding general planning and zoning activities. Just a few updates since then. In terms of the large land use ordinance that we're working on, one of the residents did mention that the township board extended the moratorium for another 6 months while we finish up working on that. We will be expanding scope a little bit, including the expertise of the sound engineer and looking at some rules and bylaws to go along with the ordinance itself, so that we're hitting some of those initial bullet points that the township board requested as part of the moratorium. So we'll be working on that. We are continuing to await a submission for Project Flex, but no update beyond what is in that report today. A couple other bigger activities that have gone on within the DDA boundaries: the Grand River retail site plan that I think we spoke about last time I was at this meeting. Was a 5 drive-through proposal right across the street that has been formally denied by the township board after a recommendation denial from the planning commission. The LDC4 site plan extension request, which was about 600,000 square feet in the South Hill Business Park West, that extension request was not granted by the planning commission. And then last night we had a lengthy meeting for the planning commission. Some people who were there at the end last night are here again tonight. Tractor Supply was approved for a minor expansion to their building here on Lion Center Drive. That's for feed storage within there, so that's all going to happen within the outdoor service area. Then we had 3 public hearings. There was a wireless tower proposal at 12 and Spalding. The recommendation there from the Planning Commission is to deny that application, so that would be on the Township Board at an upcoming meeting.
Brian,
yes.
can you just clarify for the stuff that was last night, are any of them in the DDA?
This wireless tower is within your capture but not your spend boundary. The Tractor Supply is. The next project is a 14-unit residential project, and I believe that's just outside your boundary. That project was tabled. And then the last is the Learning Tree Daycare Center, and that is within, I believe that one's within the boundary.
No,
is that just
no, it's
outside too? Okay. So there was a special land use request for the Learning Tree Daycare Center to amend that proposal. That was also recommended for denial. So the piece that I do want to note that I have under the heading here, other active application progress and upcoming planning commission cases, we have gotten 2 separate requests now for buildings that are over 100,000 square feet on various sites within the DDA district. Those potential requests, we have not accepted the application because of the moratorium. So I just want to put that on your radar that we are still getting interest in development. We're explaining the situation with the moratorium and where they would fit. Sharing drafts of the ordinances so that should they continue to look to develop in the township, they will know what their expectations are for application requirements should they submit once the moratorium is lifted. So I believe that's all I have to report.
Are we able to get more details about who's submitting those? Is that something that can happen at a board meeting?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I can tell you sites. Both of them were actually for the vacant property at the northwest corner of South Hill and Grand River, the vacant property in front of Ferguson. Yeah.
Thanks.
It's going on the western side.
It would be on that vacant piece right at the corner.
Right at the corner.
Yeah. So Ferguson's set back a little bit there. There's, I want to say it's like 14 acres or something.
It's a big chunk of land.
40?
40.
Is it 40?
40, yeah, it's huge.
Okay.
Any follow-up questions for Brian? Moving on to Treasurer's Report. We did not have a meeting in July. So what I was planning to do is, following Amy's budget review quarterly, then the following meeting I'll go into some further detail about the budget. So this is the follow-up from our June meeting. In your packet, there's kind of a summary. There are some kind of questions of just what are we spending money on. The numbers I'm going to use are from her reports, which were year-to-date May 11th of 26. So at that point, $209,000 of expenses were reported, and just kind of give some insight of that. 190,000 of that is from bond principal, compensation, figure and consultant payments. And so I provided also a breakdown of kind of how we're taking a look at our consultant payments, so we can have a good idea of what we are paying for. So there are 3 separate Excel spreadsheets for CES, Rosati, and McKenna, detailing for CES, broken down into meetings, the New Hudson Road abandonment, things having to do with the ring road, such as easements, eagle permitting, utility coordination, and then also some grant, administration. Rosati is working for us right now on a number of issues for consultation. Also, our projects are the New Hudson Road abandonment and the Southeast Ring Road. And I think that's about it. Did anyone want any further details on what we're doing and what we're paying? I think that's it for my report. Amy, you want to do economic vitality report?
Sure. We have an active economic vitality committee that is also meeting monthly. We have a fairly new chairperson for that that's starting to revitalize that a little bit, so we're kind of going in a newer direction for it. We have initiated quarterly visits to some of our industrial district businesses. So the next one that we have lined up is we'll be touring Four Wall Entertainment Company. So we'll have a few people out there visiting that site to kind of learn more about their business, ways that we can possibly be of assistance to them. And then we are also working on a networking event that will be coming up tentatively in October at Noble Restaurant. And it'll be a networking social and also an opportunity for business owners or residents to come in and talk about what we are planning for the 2027 year with that committee specifically, and kind of talk about what assistance businesses may need in the area. So it's really a feedback opportunity from business owners or residents to learn more about that committee and initiate some potential projects before we finalize the budget for that year. So be looking for information to be distributed for that event sometime within the next couple of weeks. It should be finalized.
Thank you. Does Paula give you anything, or do you want to just talk about promotions?
I can fill you in on that. We have a couple events coming up. Our very last Music on the Grand concert is next week, and that is also our volunteer appreciation. So everybody should have received an invitation to that. Hopefully you're able to attend. We have Killer Flamingos, I believe, is our last band of the year. We're going to be working with Advanced Concessions that'll be providing some picnic-style food for purchase that night. And we have inflatables, we'll have the water slide again, and some vendors that will be out with different children's activities. So each concert has been continuing to grow throughout the summer, so we're really happy to see that. Knock on wood that we'll continue to have good weather. Pastor John's been praying for us, and it's been working so far, so we're happy with it. We are still looking to recruit one nonprofit organization. We've had some issues with providing enough volunteers for staffing for the parking area. And this last concert, we expect a fairly large turnout. The committee decided that we would offer an incentive for a nonprofit to come in and participate. So if you know of a nonprofit that's looking for a fundraising opportunity, if they provide 12 volunteers between 5 and 8:30 p.m. that evening to work our parking area, we're doing a $300 donation to their organization. So please spread the word. We would really like to get somebody on site for that, as we expect a big crowd for that night. We also have in September, our History on the Grand historical walking tour is going to be taking place. Information, I believe we have some flyers out in the hallway. That will be a 3-hour tour of our downtown area led by Jennifer Redfern. And then we're also partnering with the library and Oakland County Main Street, and we're offering a new program called House Histories, House Mysteries. We picked a property that the township owns, a house on Rice Street, and they're doing a deep dive into the history to find out more about it. And they're going to be presenting that information at this event that will take place at the new library. And it's also going to go over ways that you can do historical research on your own properties. So we're looking forward to kind of a first partnership with that organization to host something like this. So look for more information. And then in October, we have our Goodies on the Grand trunk or treating program that will be taking place in conjunction with Holy Hallways for the New Hudson United Methodist Church. And we'll also be doing Scarecrows on the Grand this year. We'll be expanding the footprint of that event. And I believe Scarecrows will be displayed from October 10th through the 31st. So if you're a business downtown and want to display, or if you're outside of the district and still want to put something on display, I believe they'll be set up along the light poles along the ring road this year. So look for more information on our Fun on the Grand website. As soon as everything's finalized, it'll be put up there shortly. Probably, if it's not already there, within the week, it'll be online.
Thank you. For design and appearance, we did have a meeting last week and want to appreciate all the efforts by Angie and Amy for recruiting new participants. So we had 2 new people coming and discussed a lot about beautification and arts within our community. So we're looking at creating a subcommittee to address murals and blight. And I know, Brian, I don't know, a couple years ago, you created a nice list of stuff for us to do a tour around. That was great. We're thinking about doing that again. We do have, is it the September meeting? It is a joint meeting with EV. So we might turn around and want to do that.
Okay.
So we got to figure that out ASAP.
What would be, do you know the date?
September 1st at 4 p.m. is currently the planned time and day. That would be a Tuesday.
I can do that.
We did a number of things. All of our committees are filling out applications for membership, as well as we now have a Lyon Township DDA local business tours or visits code of conduct. So we reviewed that. We also went through our FIG grant and looking at developing another one. So I'm going to hold that conversation to either Amy or one of our further agenda items, because we did receive a FIG grant from Kickstand, which we'll be talking about in a bit. And then I think other than that, we kind of got updates on our parking lot. Our irrigation is installed. I don't know if I could call it functional yet. We're working out some kinks. We would love to actually sod and mulch the front area of the parking lot. So hopefully that will happen the next month or so. For 2027, we're looking at doing some landscaping and fencing. And again, further on the agenda, we'll talk about fencing. But John, one question I had for you, because you're a fence guy.
Go ahead.
When we had talked about putting a fence between the parking lot and New Hudson Inn, but it was a concern, because of the backing up of vehicles, that it could just, an aluminum fence would just get run over. Is that your assessment?
Well, we would have to look at it and see how much distance they have. If you can put parking blocks in, stop them from going. But I think it's a gravel driveway you're dealing with. It's going to be hard to do that. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't want to put a nice fence in there and have it run over. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah, no, that has been
I'm
our
sorry, the
concern.
Novocaine has worn off and my tooth is killing me. So I'm going to be trying to, it's definitely hurting. So I'll do as much talking as I can, but.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
you look miserable.
Some Tylenol.
I know, some pain.
But yeah, I would definitely not put that in there if there's no way to stop the bumpers from reaching the fence.
Okay.
And I think
Thank
you
you.
have a short space on both sides, right?
Yeah.
From both sides, so that would be a tough one.
Okay, appreciate your input on that. We got an update on the New Hudson Road Abandonment Gateway, which I think Amy will give us further updates in her report, as well as we'll be talking about the cemetery fencing, the Grand River benches and fencing, and then we are looking at potentially doing some sort of rapid flashing beacon, Lyon Center east, and so we'll be kind of looking at what the next steps are for that. But those are the current projects that DNA is addressing for 2026, and as we look toward what we're going to put on our plate for 2027. Thank you. Amy, do you want to do org? Punt?
Because Vice Chair Mike Kazi is out of town, we kind of pushed most of our organizational committee meeting agenda items to the next month. So really, we've been talking about the need for what policies we're looking to update in the next couple of months or the remainder of the year, and streamlining some of these current policy, or not policies, but current systems that we're utilizing, continuing to update that. financials, making sure we have a policy that's transparent and available to everybody. So I think that's about it at this point.
Yeah, I realized I forgot in my treasurer's report that I had submitted a DDA financial policies and procedures kind of outline. So if anyone's wondering what we're looking at, it's there. So if there's anything you feel that needs to be added, feel free to give your input.
And that treasurer's report is posted in the packets for tonight. So anybody from the public that's interested in getting more information, that's all online.
Correct. Yeah. John, do you have anything you want to?
Yeah, I just have a quick update, and I gave it at the board meeting about the South Hill treatment plant is fully finished. We are waiting for Eagle to give us the okay to test it. And once we get the testing, I think we're going to put a notice out here, possibly in the next couple weeks, to the residents to let them know that it is going to go online probably around the end of this month. We're going to put, actually, I'm going to take that back. We're going to put the notice out at the end of this month and possibly get it in service by the mid next month. So, and it all depends on Eagle. It all depends on them giving us the blessing to turn this thing on. It is finished, and it's been a long wait, so we're very excited to get this thing on. And we're kind of held by them, though, right now. Other than that, it's just been very busy. Lots going on in the township. And I do want to say it again. I know I said it the night of the board meeting, but I'm going to say it again. I hear everyone come up and they tell me how long they've been residents. I've been a resident here 73 years. I've never lived anywhere else. I started my business 40 years. I sat in South Line Fence Company and ran that business, and I ran it to the place it's at now. I sold it in 2023 to my manager, who was so awesome to me that he deserved it. I still own the building. I have 3 other properties in here. All I hear is taxpayers. I pay taxes. I pay a ton of taxes, a ton. I love this township. I'm going to say it over and over. I can't take it anymore. Everybody that's been here 20 and 30 and 40 years moved into my neighborhood. This is the neighborhood I grew up in. I never lived anywhere else. I know it's a beautiful place. I love this place. I will never move from this place, ever. And you know what? In 2016, I let my manager and my wife run my fence company because they needed a supervisor here in Lyon Township because the other supervisor was retiring. And I said, you know what? I'm going to put my fence company on hold and come to work full-time for this township. And I would have done it for free. But you know what? It's a supervisor's position that goes on and on and on. And others are going to be after me. And they need to be paid. Even though I did very well in my life, and I'm very happy with what I've done. And I did it in Lyon Township. I did it here. So I just can't take it anymore when people stand up to this microphone and say how long they've been here and how they're taxpayers, and they look at us. We've put our life in this township. I've been in this seat since 2008. I've given a lot of my time to this township. My fence company has given back to this township over and over. They ask for money. Townships ask money from businesses all the time, and we open our wallets because we love where we're at. Every business in this township opens their wallets for this township, every one of them, because they love it too. And every time I hear somebody tell me that you're ruining, this is yes, it's a great place to be. You know why? Because we made it that way. We worked. We can't shut everybody down. We can't come in and say no to everybody. And when we do say no to people, they sue. And then you know what happens? We get large developments that judges tell us that we're going to give them. That's what we end up with. So this township board has tried to put together the best plans they can to make this the best place. And you know what makes me the proudest? Every single person that stands up to that microphone, what is the first thing they say? I love it here. It brought me here. It's a beautiful place to be. I don't want it ruined. And neither do I. And I'm sorry, my tooth is killing me, and I'm not super happy, but I'm going to tell you something. No one can take this township from me. No one. And I'll fight for this township as long as I'm here. And if you people want to take me out, okay, take me out. I'll head off on my merry way because I can afford to. I don't need anybody's money. I don't need bribes. I'm sick of people walking up to the microphone. You guys are on the take. I've never taken a dime from this township. I've given dimes to this township. And they always will. And that's the way I feel. And I'm sorry, but I'm not feeling the greatest, and I've had it. I'm sorry. I love all my residents, too. All of them. I'm not here for one or two. I welcome everybody into this room, and I always will. I'll always let them talk. I don't care if they're from the city of South Lyon. I don't care. You know why? I grew up in South Lyon. I went to school in South. That's my city, too. I'm sorry I took that over. I had to get that off my chest.
Wonderful.
Thank you for your service.
I got to go get my mouth fixed. I'm sorry. No, that's my report, and I didn't mean to go off. I'm very sorry, and I apologize to everybody in the room. But I do love this township. I'm not the teacher here, sir. She is.
I wasn't, not to you.
We are not taking comments from the public until the end.
Yeah.
Deb, where on an agenda does something fall if we have questions about what was said during the call to public? Do we have the ability to ask a question?
Well, maybe it would fit before the next call to the public. Before you get going, if there's a question that, you mean to your fellow board members, or? Oh,
yeah. Or just to somebody here who can answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. Amy, give us the update on what you've been doing.
I cannot follow that, but
Nobody can.
I know. Set a high bar. I apologize, I'm going to kind of bounce around a little bit because I have 2 months of updates and a lot of it is already talked about in other places in the agenda, so I am trying to pick and choose what I share. The information is all posted in the board packet in my director's report, however, so you can always reference the full picture there. But to give an update on the New Hudson Road abandonment process, the petition was submitted to the circuit court. The petition then goes to the LARA office for review. That's how this process works. We were contacted by LARA, who requested that we expand our notification process. So we were advised when we first started this process that all the property owners that abut that portion of the road receive notification of the filing. And LARA would like us to expand that reach to include any property owner within 300 feet of any part of that road. So we pulled up all of the tax information, so we have an additional, I believe, 16 people that will be receiving the notifications, and we have to update that petition with that information. Then they have a certain amount of time to reply, whether they want to contest or allow that to move through the process. They need to file an official response. So I am getting more clarification through Jo Ellen, who has been working with us from Rosati's office. But that has been updated. She's gotten the information for the additional mailings, so those should go out by next week, we're hoping. So I should have more information in the next couple of months about that as the deadlines get closer to passing. I also wanted to share that, oh man, it's back to June. We had our Touch a Truck event was a huge success again. We had over 1,000 people attend that event. So a special thanks to Justine Jovanovski with Never Look Back Vacations, who chaired that project. She does a phenomenal job each year. Unfortunately, she is stepping down. This was her last year for chair of that project, but we do have somebody that stepped in to fill that space and is transitioning, so they'll be taking over with her assistance on that. So we're looking forward to another event next year. We may be changing locations, but maybe just moving next door. If we're not able to use Lowe's, Walmart has made it known that we're able to use their location if we would like to next year. So we'll look forward to that. Also, as we talked about earlier, you had mentioned the Design and Appearance Committee is looking at some sidewalk connections, some possible RFBs. So we're working with the township to identify some of those locations so we can ensure that some of those projects move forward next year. And you already talked about the irrigation in the parking lot. Also an update, just to keep you aware, we were notified that Kensington Place is going to be adding some more units to their park over there, which is located within our DDA. Abbey Park has changed ownership. They were purchased by the Story Point Group, so they are now being referred to as Independence Village. That is their new name. Pendleton Park has been working on rebuilding from the fire damage that they suffered earlier in the year. And I had an opportunity to attend a SEMCOG mural and public art workshop, and also attended a small peer group session that SEMCOG offered, and was able to make some good connections there for resources that may help with some capital projects that we're moving forward. One of the individuals said that they may have some funding opportunities for some of those sidewalk connections, so I'll be following up with them in the next couple of weeks to see if there's some potential funds available for those for next year. And then lastly, just to share some information on development and investment numbers from the last couple of months. With June in commercial additions, we had Nortec, which is in our industrial district. They had a build out worth just over 1.4 million. Commercial alterations, we had about 190,000, including the PC server parts, which is just outside our downtown core, and Pratt Miller interior build out. We had some signage from the Lyon Town Center, and then Coaxing Machining. They both did some wall signs. And then we had 6 residential permits with a value of just over 2.8 million. And then in July, the commercial additions with the Pendleton Park rebuilds, that was at a value of 2.4 million. And then the Kensington Place estimated value of the 5 new structures that they're putting in, just over 345,000. Some signage from Export Corp, which is in our industrial district, and Kickstand. And then we had 11 permits for residential with a value of just over 3 million. I apologize, that's a lot of information I just spewed at you, but are there any questions about my report that I can clarify for you? One last thing that I did want to touch on, because I've heard it from a couple different individuals. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I do want to encourage anybody from the public that wants additional questions, please flag me down either after the meeting or follow up with me individually, and I can explain more detail, but I don't want to get bogged down in this meeting specifically. But regarding the resolution that was passed by the Oakland County Road Commission, I just want to assure everybody that no grant was approved. This resolution is one step in an application process for Category A funding from the state. It's just one step. There is no actual application that has been submitted. It's just this one step that was completed, and the applicant is not the DDA, it's not the township. The applicant for this project is the Road Commission for Oakland County. So we were not aware that that resolution was being passed. We knew that it was a part of the application, but we weren't made aware that it was going to be passed. And for the application to be complete, there also does need to be a resolution from the local municipality, which would be Lyon Township. Lyon Township is not submitting any resolution unless it's an approved project. So I just want to make you aware of that there will be no resolution unless the project is approved. And like I said, if you want more details, please feel free to follow up with me directly, but I just wanted to at least get that information out there to clarify.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Amy, in follow-up to that, though, in reading the resolution, it stated that Veris is investing, which is very misleading.
And I have made RCOC aware of that, but it's common verbiage that they utilize for some of these resolutions. We don't have control over that. We have let them know that we feel it's very misleading, though.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
I think we are done with reports. Moving on to new business, I'm going to ask Amy to give some background on the DDA meetings video recording.
Yep. So the new business item A is, as Lisa said, DDA meetings video recording. So it was requested by the board. There was a slight debacle, and I will take full responsibility of it. At our June workshop, I did not proceed with getting it video recorded as it was a special meeting. And The board has made it clear that anytime there is a special meeting or additional, that any meeting of the DDA, we should request a video recording. So I'm asking the board to do a motion tonight, asking for that officially, that if any special meetings are set, that within 48 hours of setting those, that the director will make contact with our vendor to get those meetings recorded, and that notice will be put out at our DDA site and the township of those special meeting dates that were set. So I'm looking for a motion for that tonight to make sure that that happens moving forward.
You want a motion now?
Unless there's any additional
Any
discussion.
Discussion? I guess my only question, Deb, is I know Mike wanted the 2-day thing. Like, life happens sometimes. Like, I'm just uncomfortable with 2 days. Like, I think within a week, or at least.
You could add the words "if possible."
Okay. Yeah. Like, I'd like to just
within
have
2 days, business days, if possible. Oops. So that you have some sort of a guideline there.
Okay.
Is there anything that the public can say into this discussion or not?
At this time, no.
I'll make a motion consideration of a motion to direct a DDA director to arrange for a video recording of all DDA meetings, both regular and special meetings, within 2 business days of setting the dates/times of these meetings. All meetings shall also be posted on the DDA website and township website within 2 business days, if possible, of setting the date, time of these meetings.
Second.
Can we just add if possible to both of the 2 business days?
This first, my bad.
The first one. Are we good with that being the adjustment
We'll add an addendum.
to your
Yeah.
motion? Yeah. Does anyone want to second the addendum version of Jason's motion?
Sal second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That. Are we having an issue with a quorum at all now that John is not here?
No, we still have a quorum. It's just when we go into.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
That has passed.
Yep.
It's just for the closed session, you're gonna need 6 votes to go into closed.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's not left the building? If we can just make sure that, he's available in the future.
We could always, if he's not back up here, we could do a brief recess.
He's getting something for his.
Yeah.
And again, I asked Amy also to kind of discuss the event sponsorship participation issue.
Yep. As everybody is aware, we've had the opportunity as an executive committee and a full board to start looking at cleaning up some of our processes and policies. And this was something that was brought up as we were discussing applications that we receive for sponsorships, participation, and how they may affect staffing issues. There was a concern that was raised about public safety for some events. So we're asking tonight, based on feedback from the organizational committee, for a consideration of a motion that would give the organizational committee the ability to go over applications for our special events, our sponsorships that are submitted, just to ensure that there's no specific issues that might regard the public safety needing additional staffing, so that if it puts an undue burden on the DDA, we are allowed to refuse that participation or sponsorship if we see it as being an issue. So that's what's before you tonight, is the consideration of that.
So this is open for discussion.
Sorry, I missed it. I had to go get something.
No, it's okay.
We're on the event sponsorship participation. So
Yep.
if we don't have any questions or need for clarification, feel free to make a motion.
I'm not good at this.
You're not good at
I'll give it a shot.
You can do this one. Okay. As chair, can I do a motion? Or do I not? I can't remember. What is Robert's
Yes.
rules?
Yeah, you can.
All right, I'm going to make a motion That all applications for participation and/or sponsorships for the remaining 2026 fiscal year are reviewed by the organizational committee prior to approval. An application may be denied if the committee determines that participation or sponsorship is likely to require additional staffing, including but not limited to law enforcement, or is likely to disrupt the purpose of the event, such that there will be unreasonable interference with the enjoyment of the planned events by attendees, other participants and sponsors, and/or performers.
Wow, that was a good motion. Support.
Thanks, Deb. Anyone want to second that motion?
John.
I did, I support.
Oh, you did, sorry, okay. All right, John has, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to C. As I mentioned in my design and appearance report, we're looking at some areas that just...
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Uh-huh.
There was also an additional request for that too.
Oh, is that the next page?
Yeah, that next
Sorry.
page, that first one.
Okay, guess we're going to do another motion regarding permissions. So I'd like to, so this is there anything you want to say more?
It falls in line specific to ask to remove that person, business, individual, group, if there are issues that arise.
Any questions or discussion?
I'll make a motion that the DDA executive director or her designee is authorized to request the removal from a DDA event of any individual who is interfering with attendees or participants such that the individual's behavior or actions are causing disruption of the event.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Unanimously passed. Okay, now we'll talk about fencing.
Can I make one thing before you start?
Yeah.
I will recuse myself from this. I see Southline Fence Company's on there. I have nothing to do with Southline Fence Company, and it's totally up to this board. I sold it 2 years ago. I have no ownership, and I have no interest in it. So if you want to remove me from this vote, if Southline Fence is the company you're picking, I would recuse myself from the vote.
So my understanding is recusals are done by the person, not the group.
Correct.
So
But
you
if-
are the one who would determine that. So if
So
you have
he's
determined that
asking-
if we're going to vote on Southline Fence, you are recusing yourself.
It
That was my
says
understanding
Southline
of
Fence
your
Company, and
comment.
if you do pick Southline Fence Company, I would like to recuse myself
Okay,
from that vote.
thank you.
We
Okay.
have a quorum without John in there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's, yes, not an issue. In the last month or so, we did a visit out to the cemetery and to see if the fencing along Grand River could be repaired. So this is just talking about the frontage. There obviously are 4 sides of the cemetery. We are only addressing the front side of Grand River. It is a wrought iron fence, I believe, which is very expensive and high maintenance. Amy has done a lot of quotes looking at what it would cost to repair versus replace. And so those quotes are in your, I believe they were in the packet.
When did we put that fence in? I've been on this board since 2005.
Yeah.
I remember that going in.
It was when Michelle
It
was
was when
here, yeah.
Michelle Anya was the
When
director.
Michelle Anya was, yeah.
Yeah.
And I told her not to put that fence in.
No, yeah.
I
That's a
told her it'd
mess.
be maintenance
It's an
forever.
absolute mess.
I told
Did
her not
it
to
get
do
put in when you were on or before?
When I was on.
Because I think it was prior to 12
I
sometime,
was on,
so maybe
I've been on
around
the
Lake
board
Fiber.
since 05, without
Yeah.
my year-and-a-half hiatus.
Yeah.
It was, it
So it's
had
quite
to
a
be
while
like
ago.
04 in that area, because
04,
I got on
05.
the DDA board in 2004.
Okay.
So it was in that era between 4 and 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably 20 years old or close to
Oh,
that.
it's gotta be all that, yeah.
Yeah.
So the recommendation is to replace, not repair, and to replace with aluminum painted black. The design would be identical to the War Dog Memorial fencing. However, it will be lower, like the current height of the cemetery fencing. But I guess as John states, if somebody decides to run through it, we will be repairing it, but I think it'll be easier to repair than the current
Absolutely.
situation. So
Aluminum fencing is the way to go right now.
it is going to be more for looks than for saving the people.
Yep.
Saving headstones.
Yeah, so.
Seems like they're all dying to get out.
Oh, jeez. What'd you take for that, too?
What did you give me, Rebecca? All of a sudden,
Better
I'm feeling
recuse
funny.
yourself.
Everything's funny.
He's feeling
What's the
good.
current fence made of?
Wrought iron.
Wrought iron.
That's wrought iron.
And it needs to be painted regularly, which I don't know if it has ever been
It'll
maintained
never look right.
at all.
So the existing one's high
It's
maintenance.
never been
The new
touched since
one
it
would
went
We'll
be
look
less-
at it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a mess.
Yeah.
absolutely
Never
not.
been
Less
touched.
maintenance.
I think we really would
Yeah.
only have to do something if someone decided to run into it.
Yeah,
repair
and there's
it.
some
But
pictures in the
We
packet
don't
of
have
the
to
old
paint
fencing.
I'll volunteer. I'll
Uh,
run it.
Yes, we want to get away from regular maintenance of
Yeah.
said fences in our township.
And we did
And this
include
would do
with the
that.
bids at least 3 or 4 extra panels because they come in, I believe, 5-foot panel lengths. And we were assured that that's something that our DPW could swap out if a panel gets knocked over or is, yep. So we'll have some extras just in case.
Good.
I can tell you if it's a stepped project where it's got grade issues and that hooped style fence has to be stepped. So when they step that fence, they use brackets so they don't put it through like you normally see.
Yeah,
And so, plus I believe I read in here was commercial grade. The commercial grade is much thicker, but it's bracketed. So they would be very easy to replace if they were hit.
yep. And the War Dog fence, the War Dog Memorial fencing has been up for over 10 years and that still looks great. And it's, as far as I know, it hasn't been repainted or anything else. So,
No, you won't paint that.
yeah. So I think this will hold up nicely.
And I think that particular fence is more residential. I don't think that's commercial grade like
Yeah.
this one's spec'd out.
Yep. So we would be looking for a motion with a do not exceed, proposing a do not exceed of 45,000, which gives us a little bit of wiggle room if something unexpected happens, just to be able to take care of that. And the lead time for materials is usually 6 to 8 weeks. So we'd like to get it ordered as soon as possible so that we can ensure that it gets installed by early November, if at all possible. If it can get shipped earlier, they will do that for us and see if they can get it installed right away. So this would be ideally completed before the end of the calendar year.
Well, I move that we accept the quote from South Line Fence Company for the cemetery for the amount not to exceed 45,000, then it is said, and to authorize the director to sign the service contract on behalf of our DDA.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to another project. If one drives down Grand River between the Five Points intersection and the roundabout, there is a Greenfield Village-esque little world there with benches and lamp posts and receptacle containers that have not been painted regularly, that are in dire need. We will not be replacing these. The goal is to repair them, and there's a lot of rust. So it is not a cheap project to restore them to look good again. The plan is that the DNA committee will be a bit more diligent in trying to maintain things that the township owns so that we don't get to this state and just regularly will be painting it as needed. So Amy went and obtained some bids for us for this project as well. And if we're able to approve it, we would be tentatively scheduled for the week of August 17th. So this is something hopefully we can get done before our next meeting. Any questions? Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to use Certa-Pro painter for refurbishing and painting the park benches, the trash cans and fencing along Grand River for an amount not to exceed $6,800. and to authorize the director to sign the service contract on behalf of the DDA.
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Let's see, we are now on E. Figure application for 57721 Grand River Avenue. That would be the FIG application in your packet for kickstand. I want to give some bigger background to what is going on. We have had the FIG grant, I don't even know how long, 3 years, 5 years?
We revamped it in 2022, I believe.
Okay. And we have not had a lot of applicants, and so we've really kind of looked at why and what the issues are. Is this something that can only be used in our core also?
No, in the entire DDA district, preferences given to those businesses located in our core, though.
In our core, okay. So one of the issues that a lot of the core businesses have is they are in existing buildings that are not up to code. And so facade is great, but it really doesn't help if there are really some bigger issues in the building. The DNA committee is looking at this. We are developing actually a second grant application, so we're not trying to create everything all in one. So we will continue to have our facade improvement grant as is, but we're proposing to create a property enhancement building modification grant application, which would include items such as paving, sewer connection, water tap, electrical wiring, plumbing, lighting, fire suppression, code compliance, AC, heating, flooring, roofing, and interior demolition. We don't, to date, have that application for all of you to review and to approve. We hope in the next couple meetings. I would anticipate it'll be on our agenda, but we're still working through some things. And with the FIG grant, it's every application is a new time to figure out what's not so great about the application. So what I wanted to propose was to use this kickstand grant as a pilot. The way the FIG currently works is it reimburses 20% of the funds that are eligible up to $20,000. So that would be a maximum of 20% of $100,000. That is a lot to invest, that $80,000 for a lot of businesses to be able to get that 20. So we were looking to increase that reimbursement to 50%. And then also in terms of grant applications, since we have these two different ones, instead of it being $20,000 grants, putting each one at $10,000. So if you applied for both, you could potentially get $20,000. And do you want to go into some of the more details of what we're thinking in terms of number of applications?
Yeah, so we looked back, and obviously, as Elisa said, the purpose of this is to help our individual businesses. And what we were presenting with the FIG grant was a great starter point, but we would just realize that in conversations with businesses, the beautification was fantastic, but the need was there more for bringing some of these non-conforming sites up to conformity, ADA compatibility, some of these bigger problems that are realized once they get in with flooring replacements, AC units. So the intention is to still keep the facade improvement grant, but have that be a separate application, and then there could be a building enhancement grant that could also be applied for. So they could apply for both to still get that maximum $20,000 a year. But again, we really wanted to focus on, to put it simply, to make it more of an incentive and not a coupon to where you have to spend so much money to get a little back. This really should be an incentive program for them to invest in the community. So that's what we were looking to do with these applications and helping cover and offset some of these other expenses that really come up. In some initial conversations, this is something that I think will be highly successful. I've already, just by announcing these changes that we're looking at, letting them know that they haven't been finalized yet, but specifically talking about the opportunity to use a pilot program that we might be able to initiate the next few businesses in. We've received 2 more applications already in the last 72 hours. So businesses are excited about it. So I'm excited to see that possibility, which would hopefully get us to our full budgeted amount for this year for this program, and possibly look at some of the costs for next year, maybe increasing it to allow a few more businesses. And then we'll continue to get feedback from these businesses on what's successful, what worked for them, what didn't. But we had the opportunity, and Brendan is here tonight from Kickstand, to meet with him and talk about some of his needs specifically for the businesses and some of the obstacles that he's facing. And as Elisa said, we really realized that this is a great opportunity for us. We don't want to penalize because we haven't made these changes yet in time to meet his application. We thought it was a great opportunity to use this as a pilot program to be able to see how that could directly affect the work that he's doing over at Kickstand, since we're really excited about that building coming to fruition and that business opening in the area. So tonight we have a consideration for a motion that would allow us to utilize this pilot program, again, to recap, to raise the reimbursement to a 50% matching up to a maximum of $20,000. That would expand the usage of the reimbursables for what was included in the original FIG grant, plus all the additional expenses that we discussed. Does that cover everything, I think?
I think so.
I don't know, Brendan, if you wanted an opportunity to say anything maybe about what some of these changes could mean to your business, or what types of things you encountered when you first purchased, that would give some insight.
That's fine. Do you guys have any specific questions? I can kind of go into like what our project has entailed after we opened walls, but
sure,
if you want to go down that route. Okay, so when you do a home inspection or building inspection, you don't get to like open the wall and get to see what's all inside. You don't generally go in the attic and inspect every piece of electrical. So for our project, we're renovating the entire kitchen, basically the entire building, and we didn't anticipate taking it down to studs in every piece of it. When we got into the kitchen, the metal studs were not connected to the track floor anymore. They were all rotten. They'd been sitting there for about 20 years in water. So we found that we had to rebuild all the interior walls. Found that the reason why the building was so wet is that there was some homeowner work done on the roof, and the roof needed to be replaced. So that was boards, fascia, flashing. There was a lot to do on the roof. Then when you went to see electrical stuff, we have to bring it back to code. Like, I can't pass an inspection the way it was left and the way we bought it. There was just wires pulled into boxes, wire nutted, and no plates put on them. So if anybody came in there, you basically you can't open this building. So there's a lot of things in there that just didn't work. That you can't anticipate until you get into it. We had painters come, and they started touching the exterior of the building, and he pointed out basically, I'd say 70% of the building that we had to replace the exterior on. So when you buy things like this, this is our budget for doing these projects, and basically our budget doubled in what we had to do. So then obviously we found out this grant was available. Unfortunately, a lot of those things do not come into play. The signage did, but the roofing wasn't there. The electrical stuff that we had to bring up to code was not available. A lot of the building materials inside for the demo that we didn't anticipate we needed to do. So all those other things would really help people. I mean, people are investing hundreds of thousands of dollars into buildings, and it's always appreciated. Not expected, but it's appreciated and helpful when the township helps. So, you guys got any questions?
Are you done with the project?
Nearly done. Nearly done. We're, I'd say, the last 10%. So we'll be ready for final inspections from the township probably in the next 2 weeks.
And one of the things I just wanted to jump in here too, because that brings up a point that I forgot to mention, is one of the holdups that we heard the most about from business owners was that our previous application or current application requires that everything is approved and the application is finalized and submitted prior to any work beginning. And as we all know, government can sometimes be slow. We have meetings where these projects or these applications get reviewed by one committee, then they have to go to the board if meetings are canceled or postponed. We don't want to penalize the businesses for that. So in the new application, we're saying that work can begin, but we're putting an expiration on it that once the grant is approved, it has to be completed within 12 months of that approval date. But just to give you an idea,
that
that's
would definitely
one.
be helpful because a lot of those add-ons are not planned projects. They're saying
Absolutely.
like, okay, this has to be done now. So that's something that's done within 2 weeks, and people are just paying for it, going for it. So.
Yeah. So hopefully everybody can understand the need why we're making some of these changes, and we are really trying to be proactive in listening to our businesses and what's going to make a real impact for them. So,
Amy, that provision or that change that would apply to both the facade and the general improvement portion?
yes, keeping in mind too that it does require, it means that we're allocating that money for potential collection. We're saying that they're approved for up to that, but they still need to submit receipts, invoices, and the work needs to be approved, certificate of occupancy, before money's actually dispersed on that.
Okay.
So there wouldn't be a chance that they could purchase signage that isn't compatible with what our requirements are, or something like that.
Yeah.
So the idea of the facade grant was to make the outside of the buildings look presentable in the downtown area, and there was a lot of rundown buildings, and so now you want to open it up to a lot of other things and more of an incentive grant for
Recruiting new
unseen
businesses.
problems if you move into a building. Well, I think it's a great thing.
Was parking lot lighting excluded from that as well?
It was excluded. It's in the new one. It's included.
I was gonna say that would be a nice thing to update in there because there's a lot of, like, our other building, we got an incentive to replace old bulbs and go to LED stuff that all looks a lot nicer and protects a lot of the other businesses and neighboring homes from the light pollution.
Yep.
So it would be very helpful.
Yep.
I think it's a good thing, but I think we need to focus on facade. I think I think it's a good thing, and I do think facade needs to take over this whole grant because that was the idea, to make the buildings look nice. But I do understand the rest of it, but I still think we need to focus more on facades. Because there are some buildings downtown that I would like to see the facades fixed up on them, and I would like to see maybe we walk in the door and let them also know.
One's not
So-
mine, is it?
Yeah,
So
and there would be.
One thing I'll say about the
Yeah.
facade
Oh,
thing,
but you
it's just
could
like
get it
you
too.
can't just only fix the front facing.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So
I think
that's
it's
the
all
only
right.
thing I would put in there. And I'm not saying that for me. I'm just saying that for everybody. Is like you just have a front wall that's bad that faces, the road, and then you have 3 other sides that are probably in the same shape that just nobody can see. But the township doesn't want the building like that anyways. So that's the only part I would say with just the facade.
Well, we can't rebuild the whole thing, so.
Right, I
we
get
have
it.
to
I get
Focus
it.
on one thing,
Yeah.
and,
I get it.
man, them pills work. God.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is you're gonna run into this problem where you're gonna get a quote from somebody and they're gonna say, all right, how do I fix the exterior of this building? This is how much it's gonna cost. And then they're gonna say, okay, well, I need a separate quote just for the front. And they're gonna be like, I don't want to.
I'm not nitpicking it, and I think it's a great
No,
idea.
for
It's
sure.
just, I do think we had to focus on facades as the major, item
That's the
because of
first thing people
facade.
see.
And so,
And a facade
yeah,
is
Jen, I
expensive.
think there's a couple of things that we're doing. Like, as I said, we want to create kind of a blight committee, and, Brian had given us a list of just things to take a look at. I feel like the snowball has just been stuck at the top of the mountain.
Oh, I agree with that.
I think this will kick it off. I think it might get too big and we'll have an avalanche and then we'll have to pull it back. But I'd rather
That'd be a good thing.
get to the avalanche and pull it back than stay where we're at, where it's just stuck.
So you could almost do a middle ground where you leave the full 20 grand could be used for facade, or you could split it in half. That way you could still incentivize the facade, but if people need 10 of that to go towards building improvements, that's an option. for
Sure, I
them.
mean, I guess you
That's
you
something
also
we can
see-
adjust and look at, yeah.
You also see parking lot and curb repair, all that kind of stuff. Like you do want that to look nice. That is to me that's part of you pull into a building and they have a nice parking lot. The curbs are still there. So I don't know if that could maybe fall into the facade portion of it. I know it's not the building itself, but
Yeah. I think what we
it
could.
makes it look nice.
We have the draft versions that are floating now that have not been finalized, limit it to 10,000 each for facade or for the building enhancements. We could look at bumping up the facade for an availability of up to 20 on the condition that they're not applying in conjunction with another building enhancement. And then the building enhancement could be kept at the 10,000 because we do want to keep a focus on the facade. I think that would be a good compromise. So we'll work on that and putting that into the draft before it comes before the board for review.
You could go base by base too, on a base by base.
Yeah.
Somebody may need more inside as long as they're fixing up the outside. If there's money left over, this might open it up to help them on the inside.
Absolutely.
I think the outside's important, and I think that's what it was meant about. It was meant for, but.
Yeah, I didn't really understand what you said about it's going to be, you wanted it not as a reimbursement, or you wanted it?
It's a reimbursement grant, and
Okay.
that's what we would be staying with. So at the end of the project, when everything's completed, it would be submitting the invoices
Somebody
and
just mentioned
receipts.
like putting up all the money. I think you had mentioned, not the township, but
Yeah.
it's an expense that the owners of the buildings have to incur. Obviously, that deters some investment to it, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions?
But I think it's a great idea, honestly. What you got here, I think is great.
Yeah, honestly, we didn't hear about it until Amy and I.
Well, and that's the problem, and that's our problem. Probably we're not out there, pushing it and stopping it maybe and seeing people and
Right, I think Noble
offering it.
was Noble.
Yeah, Noble was
They did.
one of them
They
that we
did.
pushed.
That's the only.
So again, I hope this becomes a discussion we have more, that we have more applications, we have these things to discuss. And as I said, with each one that we've gotten, there's been feedback of the challenges. We've tried to sort of incorporate that and felt that we didn't want to, the facade grant's a good grant, and we didn't want to mess with it as much as create an opportunity that if there were bigger issues, that we could find a way to have that ability. And again, given we're in this transition stage trying to figure out what we're doing, we have a current proposal, which is rather generous. So get in your pilot while it's at 50%. Any of you have questions about what the current parameters are or the current motion? Thanks for your time. Yeah, appreciate it. Anyone want to make a motion?
Well, I'll move then, because did we talk about changing some of the parameters though?
No, I think we're okay with the suggested motion to still apply.
To approve a pilot program for the FIG grants to reimburse certain interior and exterior improvements in a total not to exceed $20,000 based on 50% reimbursement of allowable expenses included in the FIG grant application. This would include new additional categories of reimbursement such as signage, paving, sewer connection, water tap, electrical wiring, plumbing, lighting, fire suppression, code compliance, AC, heating, flooring, interior demolition, and related expenses. And it's mentions for Tasty Brands on Grand River, 57721 Grand River. All invoices and paid receipts which are required for documentation must be submitted to the DDA director, and all expenses submitted for reimbursement shall be subject to final approval by the Design and Appearance Committee prior to any reimbursement.
Good job, I'll support it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That passes. Thank you. And again, this will be a continued discussion that we have, and I appreciate the comments that were made tonight to kind of help us nail down what we want to create. Let's see. F has now become the MDA Annual Conference attendance request.
Yep. So I have been lucky enough to feel extremely supported by my DDA board in continuing my education for this position. So this is a training opportunity that comes up with the Michigan Downtown Association, and they do conferences twice a year. Traditionally, the summer conference that they do, I never tend to attend that because it's the same weekend as Kite Fest, which I feel is an important involvement for the DDA to be included into, so I always attend the Kite Fest. But they do have their winter annual conference, and this year that is taking place November 4th through the 6th in Kalamazoo. And there's also a networking opportunity and on-site tour that'll be a mobile tour taking place in downtown Battle Creek that I would like the ability to attend. I'm actually requesting not only for myself, but for our marketing and social media director, Angie Hunt, who is here tonight. She has been consistently adding on some additional responsibilities to assist me throughout the year. We've been lucky to have her involved. She's helping out some more with each individual committee too, and has shown a real interest on getting more education on what Main Street is all about and not just the social media and marketing aspect of it. So I think it would be an amazing opportunity for her just to attend this conference and see some of the different areas. There are some trainings specifically on social media, though, that she obviously could attend, but there's others that I think would be great for her to just get some experience in. I had included a memo for all of the board members to review to go over what the expected expenses are between the registration, mileage, meals, and hotel costs. And then I also included a list of just some of the trainings that are advertised. The full agenda has not been made available, but when it is, I will definitely share that with you all. But I would be looking for a motion tonight to allow myself as the director and Angie Hunt in her position to be able to attend that conference in Kalamazoo this November.
I gotta say, I think so far the connections we've made with Main Street now have been super profitable for DDA as well as
Absolutely.
you guys, so I'm all for this for sure.
I did say, I keep remembering stuff. I apologize. I'm going to add this on too, just to go off of your comment. One of the things that Tim Colbeck from Main Street, Oakland County was going to announce tonight, and I'll let him speak more about it, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. We were able to attend the Main Street, Oakland County Awards in June, and we were one of a list of communities that were chosen for a rural communities grant, which is worth valued at $20,000. So they will be presenting that to us at our next meeting too. There are some guidelines that they would like us to follow and how we choose to spend that money in the next couple of years. But it's exciting opportunity that they're making available to some of those rural Main Street communities. So these involvements and partnerships are definitely important for us to be able to make these connections, as John said.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the DDA director and the social marketing manager to attend the Michigan Downtown Association Annual Conference November 4th through 6th in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and for the trip not to exceed $2,500.
Support.
All in
That
favor?
was Pastor John supported?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Deb, I wanted to go down a rabbit hole during that discussion time we didn't have. Can I ask a question to the sheriff people about bikes and scooters? Is that an issue that we have within our DDA? I know that's an option for one of the topics.
I think it's definitely an issue, and I know that the Sheriff's Department has been working on updating a possible ordinance with our planning consultant on e-bikes specifically, and they did make an announcement, I believe, not at this past meeting, but the one before, about a flyer with some of that information, but I will hand it over to Les.
I did hear that one. I'm just trying to understand what's DDA, what's Lyon Township, what's Oakland County.
Go ahead and start the
How big
question
is
over
our
for me.
problem?
I was busy back there with a phone conference. What was your question?
Sorry for interrupting it. One of the options of a course she could take is bikes, scooters, and downtown sidewalks. So I know we don't have sidewalks,
Right.
but how much of an issue are bikes, scooters in the DDA area?
Well, that's really hard to measure.
Okay.
We're only triggered when there's an accident.
Okay.
And right now they're all over the township. I mean, I could give you my personal assessment. I see a group of kids riding through that area all the time. I don't know if they're from Lyon Township or if they can ride these bikes all the way from Northville because they go pretty far. They have like a 70-mile range. But problems, more of a nuisance right now. But we're looking to take steps to get involved before the problem becomes, more serious with injuries and fatalities kind of thing. And it's not just kids, it's adults, it's everybody. Last week we had an instance where there's a kid trying to keep up with 2 e-bikes on a regular bike and just rode out in front of a car and kind of hit the side of it. So it's something we're working on. Myself and the supervisor and the attorney and Brian will get together hopefully soon to figure out what directions we're going to take. We have the framework from South Lyon, right? We just need to figure out how restrictive we would like to be here with our ordinances.
I know the one that you talked about was restricting bikes that should have pedals that don't.
Well, that's the law. So right now, in the absence of ordinances, we can defer to state law to take enforcement action. So the state defines, we have 3 different classifications of e-bikes. We have class 1, class 2, class 3. Class 1 and class 2, they're limited to 20 miles per hour. Class 3 goes up to 28 miles per hour. I believe it's people between the ages of 14 and 18 must wear a helmet because that one's faster. The wattage needs to be 750 watts or less, and the pedals need to work, right? What they're doing is they're modifying the pedals by removing them and putting pegs on. So once you modify that, e-bike is no longer an e-bike. It's an e-moto, it's a scooter, it's something else that doesn't fall under the state's definition. So what my guys have started doing when we identify these bikes, we're stopping them, we're calling a parents or a guardian to the scene, we're providing them with a flyer to let them know what the law is, right? We're warning, right? And it'll get progressively worse for the repeat offenders. We're keeping notes, we're putting it in our computers to take action as we move forward.
Do they have to have a license to operate these?
Not e-bikes. So e-bikes are governed the same as regular bikes. So e-motos, yeah, those are motorcycles, and you need to have a driver's license with an endorsement and insurance kind of thing. So once they modify it, it becomes an e-moto, and all of those other laws attached to it.
You said the word scooter. To me, a scooter is like something that has a handle. Is scooter also a type of motorcycle bike?
Well, yeah, when they're putting motors on them, yeah. Yeah, the scooters, even skateboards, they have like the little unicycle things.
Right.
They're everywhere. But again, we need to actually have a reason to intervene, right? We need to be able to articulate what we see wrong with it before we even approach.
Are there laws regarding whether they should be on sidewalks or roads?
No, bikes can ride on the sidewalks or in the street. If they choose to ride a regular bike in the street, they just have to stay as far to the right as possible so they don't impede traffic. Scooters and skateboards and all that, those shouldn't be, but they are allowed on the sidewalk, just like normal bikes are.
Okay.
Thank you.
And is there some sort of
these questions?
Yeah. Is there how many incidents do we have in a week? Like,
I'd have to go through my.
Are we like 2 to 5 or 3 to 5? Or are we like 1?
If I'm spitballing, I'd probably say 3. But again, I'm not here 24 hours a day. I could do some research and get back to you if you'd like, so I can give you an actual number instead of guessing.
I can talk with Amy and kind of come up with some questions that we have. That'd be awesome.
All right.
Just to get some more understanding of the issue.
Absolutely.
That would be really helpful.
Thank you. Very
Thanks for your.
You're welcome.
So we completed F, and we are now on G, which is this. All right, hold on. Discussion of nominations voting process. So the last time we voted for chair position, we currently do not have a nominations process or policy. And so we were provided one that actually we have found out is not consistent with Robert's Rules of Order. So before we do nominations and voting, the discussion in the org committee today was that it would be good to have actually a policy for how we're doing this. And so the recommendation would be to have our attorneys to draft a policy outlining that process using Robert's Rules of Order. And Deb, do you want to provide what that looks like?
We don't work under Robert's rules, though. We haven't passed that.
No, we're not.
And we know that.
We're not.
Yeah.
No, this is not
Okay.
saying that we are doing
Okay.
Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay.
We are just wanting something, and it sounded reasonable.
Okay. Good.
And so we thought something that's commonly standard would be a good way to go.
Right. Yeah, the common approach would be, let's say, for the chair position, because that's what you're going to be doing, would be opening the nominations for chair. People nominate, then you're going to have whoever gets nominated, say there's 1, 2, 3 people get nominated. That's your slate. You close that after there are no more nominations, you close the slate, and then each person gets to cast 1 vote for each of the you don't vote per person, each person votes for who they want, okay? Instead of all the votes for the first person and you can vote 3 different times if there are 3. No, that's not the way it normally is. You know, you get to cast 1 vote, you can vote for yourself. If you're one of the nominees, you know, and whoever gets the most votes wins.
I mean, we're not voting tonight, right?
No,
I'd like to see
we're
a full
talking about
board.
a process.
Okay.
No.
Yep.
That's the
Yes.
process that, you know.
Gotcha.
Tonight's
most familiar
motion is a
with.
request to have our attorneys create
Draw
a
up
process
some type of,
Right.
for
it up
us
for
so
you.
that we all, yes.
draw up
And-
some type of uniform process, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
And so, as Deb described, it likely will sound just like that.
A slate, and everybody gets 1 vote for who they want.
Remember that, John. Just 1.
John was following directions all the time. We're just changing directions. Yeah, any questions, comments? Now is the time if you'd like her to take any other considerations in mind. Otherwise, we can
I
have
think
a
think she's got it.
motion. I do too. I think she's.
That's
think
the
you're good.
process I'm most familiar with.
Right. You're fine.
So,
I'll
can we
make
get
a motion.
Yeah, thank
I'll
you.
make a motion for our legal counsel to draft a policy outlining the process for nominating and voting for the DDA board officer position for future consideration.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So we will have that available for our next meeting. We would like to go into closed session. So, remind me what is supposed to happen. Is there a roll call?
You need to state the
Do I need to
reason that
state
we're
the
going
reason?
into closed
Right.
session.
Okay. So we are going to go into closed session to consider the purchase of real property in accordance with the provisions of MLC 15.268, parentheses, small letter D.
Roll call vote.
That is, so we need to roll call now,
Yes.
Yep,
and Dookie does that.
I can do that.
Amy could call the roll since she
Okay.
did it.
Yep. Adorno,
Yes.
Jason Egan,
Yes.
John Pajak,
Yes.
Lisa Gezzi,
Yes.
Tim Miner,
Yes.
and John Dolan.
Yes.
So we are now going to adjourn. We will return.
And just for those of you that are here tonight, there will be no business outside of a second public comment after we come back. So if you want to stick around for the second public comment, you can. Otherwise, there will be no voting matters when we come back in session, just so you're aware.
Thank you. Dude, that's Chris's card.
Oh.
I'm driving it. No, it's been 10 years since I actually had done the first go round. So he's like, the good thing is we're gonna get better. And we're gonna have to get a lot of things that have to fix. Yeah, I'm gonna give that back to them. Fix. So
That's good. I mean, to have that experience.
right. Yeah. It's like I know it's not good done. And they horse trade stuff like native species and plants.
I get it.
Yeah.
No, right, individual, which I think that's what should be anyways.
So now do
I think every government should be that way, to
Oh.
be honest with you.
Shoot, I forgot to do a timestamp.
Oh,
Did you get a timestamp?
I did not, but
I
I will
guess
through the
video.
review of the meeting, so.
Okay. Do we have?
Tim
we're
we're
waiting
waiting
for
on.
Tim.
Oh, he's right there.
Come on, Tim.
Tim Minor.
Being called, so-
He's on Tim's time.
He got it.
Elisa?
Yeah, please. It says on air. I would think on air means we're on air. Okay. I am calling the meeting back into open session at 8:01. And then we are now on to call to public. So I will open the call to public at 8:01 and 30 seconds. I apologize. I realize that every meeting does it differently. And so we have these two sessions, but in these two sessions, you can talk about agenda or non-agenda items. So
I'm talking about something not on the agenda at all. As we look forward to the Hawk signal working, and I don't know when a traffic study was done or when people have been out there looking. I have a concern, and I actually talked to a local business owner. At busy times of the day down Grand River, people don't want to wait for the traffic that's in the right lane, that's either going straight or turning right at Milford Road. So people hop into the left turn lane very quickly, and you know, Pastor John, because they just, and so I'm wondering if there's been any consideration at the crosswalk for the Hawk signal for putting a median in the road with cutouts for pedestrians to pass through, something to monitor as we move forward. I'm really, really worried that somebody is going to get nailed because those drivers, I can't believe how fast they go down that left turn lane. So just something for future consideration. Thank you.
Good evening. Mark Spencer, Lyon Township resident, 13 plus years. Is this a conversational aspect, or is it simply me talking? We're didn't talk and you guys not go. I had one question in particular on an earlier agenda item with respect to, I apologize, Amy, on the topic at hand, but the LARA, L-A-R-A, asked for more coverage, but I didn't hear why. I don't know if that could be shared as to why, because it is a change, right? It's minor, it's a super small nit, but I love details. The closed session happened that was new, that was interesting, new for me. Cool that you guys have them. Would love to know what happened. What did we buy?
It'd be a misdemeanor.
It'd be a misdemeanor.
We said anything. We didn't, yeah.
I was also just told it wasn't a conversational piece, but thank you for sharing that, Tim Minor.
Can't say anything.
I can't say anything. I love it. It's good. Thank you. Thank you for being transparent on that. That's all I really got. No data centers. Thank you.
Okay, Guy. The 300-foot thing you guys discussed a little bit. I'm sorry, but if there can be concessions made on that, that can be the minimum amount. But 300 feet is when you're doing something big, like the cell tower, and you're only going 300 feet, and there's 6 houses that you're going to send a letter to, that's going to affect more than 6 people. I'm down from that cell. I can walk to my backyard and look. I'm going to see it up in the air. I didn't get a letter. I didn't know where it was going. The data center, 300 feet, really, for a data center? How about it's based on how many people it's going to affect? If it's out in the middle of a cornfield, 300 feet's probably fine. But when you're in a residential area and you got people slammed right up against it, 5 or 6 houses isn't enough. It should be more, especially with it's in the newspaper or it's on the website. It's directly going to affect me. So I would like to know if that could be adjusted based on how many people it affects. Is there any plan for New Hudson Inn to pave their parking lot?
I'll touch base with you afterwards.
Okay. And the fencing, I think it's a great idea, but the sides. Is there any, we're going to fix up the front real nice, but can we clean out the side? Cut the stuff away from the existing fence on each side or the back? I've never been in there. I don't have anybody to visit, so I don't normally go in, but I think that would be a really nice addition to have that be cleaned up. And that's about it. And thank you, John. I appreciate your passionate speech. And I think you know that I speak passionately also. And it's nothing personal.
We're all in the same place.
I know.
That's what we have to remember.
I know. We're all in a really bad place.
Well, we're all in the same place.
Any other public comment? I will close the call to the public at, come on. Anyone know what time it is? 8:07. Yeah, that was 8:45, so I'm using my phone because the township does not know. The township computer does not know. Okay, I would love another motion.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously passed. Thank you all.
Thank you.